Welcome to episode 11 of A Walk In Midgar with me, Alex Benitez, and we're coming to you at the beginning of chapter 4 with this mission with Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse.
No.
We're coming to you again mid-scene.
Okay then, guess you're all invited. Here's to awkward family reunions.
Yeah!
This is probably going to be known as the motorcycle episode.
I take it you boys have your brand spanking new IDs?
Yes, ma'am.
Then let's lay down some rubber.
Crank that throttle. Hey, you got it.
You hear me?
Yeah.
You remember everything I just said?
Just so
It's
you
not
know,
true.
I'm not going plateside for the reason they think I am. Look, you saw the way the reactor went up. It was huge, right?
Because of all the Mako. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah. That was wishful thinking. Deep down, I know it was my fault. I used a more powerful blasting agent than the directions called for. It had nothing to do with the Mako.
Let's say you're right. So what?
I'm planning on using a weaker blasting agent this time. But, since I can't get in touch with my supplier, our only option is to loot a warehouse owned by Shinra.
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 Good luck with that.
With your help, we won't need luck. ID scan, ready?
Alright, this is cool because
So far, so good.
later in the game there's a motorcycle part that is what happens in the original game, but we won't get that far because that's in a restricted recording zone, and I'm not a computer whiz, so I'm just doing this on PlayStation Share, so that we won't actually play through, but I'll get to talk about the motorcycle stuff here then. So it's definitely an on-running theme in Final Fantasy VII to be fighting on motorcycles. It happened in the original game, it happened in Advent Children, and it's happening here. So it's definitely an on-running thing. And a lot of the mechanics on this are true to the original, in that square hits to the left side of cloud, right hits to the right side of cloud, O hits to the right side of the cloud, and then square and O is how you use it this time too. So that's staying true to the original. But these motorcycle parts are kind of inconsequential. You can actually just skip it after you beat the game the first time. You just skip these parts, but we're giving you the whole feel here. We're going for the whole gusto. See, when that it says spinning slash right now, once that fills up, you can either execute your spinning slash with a triangle, or hold L1 and use it for a long range attack. And we're doing pretty good here. These motorcycles are called Montauk Gus, which I think is a pretty terrible name, but I think they're not supposed to be that great motorcycles, especially when you look at everybody else's, how huge and technological they are. And these look like traditional crotch rockets, like motorcycles you would find in our world. But later on in the second part, the part we won't be able to see, we'll be able to see the motorcycle for a little bit, but we won't actually play the part. It says that the motorcycle is called Hardy Daytona, which I think sounds a lot cooler. I even put a question up on, would you rather have that Hardy Daytona or the bike from Akira? Because they just seem like souped up Japanese versions of like real life bikes. Like the Akira one would be a souped up crotch rocket, and the Harley Daytona would be a souped-up Japanese version of a Harley Davidson, which I think also looks pretty cool, but not many people were showing it much love. The Harley Daytona, I'd take it. Looks pretty sweet. And here's Roche. He's an original character to this game, but something I like that they expanded upon, because in the first game they talk about, you know, soldiers and how strong soldiers are, and you really only kind of meet two of them. And so where's this whole elite force of fighters, you know what I mean? So I like expanding upon it. Crisis Core also expands upon actual soldiers with Genesis and Angio and that whole thing going on. But you know, it was supposed to be a big force, so I like that they're expanding upon showing actual other members of Soldier. And Roche kind of kicks up the whole motorcycle fight up a notch.
That's an ex-soldier for you. Next to him, you look like kids on trikes.
You're damn right you do.
You're part of that we too, you know.
Oh, Jesse being so thirsty.
Woo! Topside!
Keep going till we hit the station?
No, head straight for the warehouse. Aww. Our magical ride is almost at an end.
Why are you talking like we're not here?
Because you're not.
Clearly we are.
Why is she acting like Biggs isn't still an incredibly handsome man? She should just get with Biggs. I mean, she's trying to compete for Cloud with Aerith, who's the last ancient, and Tifa, who can punch robots in the face and bust them up. You ain't got nothing compared to that Sorry.
Time's up. Break off before he shows. Copy.
What's going
Just
on?
be with Biggs, know your range. Now Roche comes in doing all this absolutely ridiculous shit.
Who's that?
He's trying to bring the Mohawk back. Look at that.
Well, hello.
It's like it's a party all over. They lied to you.
You cross him, you die. Now,
That's that long-range attack. Trying to get some damage on him early in this fight. Once you get down his patterns, this isn't too tough. Right as I get hit.
You talking to me?
I most certainly am.
Then no.
So terribly sorry. Your words failed to reach my ears, sluggish and slow as they are.
What's this guy's deal?
The lady's curiosity has been piqued. My name is Rose, but you may address me by the more accurate appellation.
Speed Demon.
Heard that, huh?
My ears are attuned to the feminine voice.
Ugh, say the word.
Yes, yes, this is the contest I've been waiting for.
He's able to do all these like twists and stuff on the road. Until I do my spinning slash, I can't do any of that except to drive straight. He is obviously more used to doing this on a motorcycle than Cloud is.
Give us a smile. Come on.
What is he up to now?
Same shit. He ain't done.
Not bad.
Got him too quick.
And an abiding affection for your mount. But one cannot simply ride one bike. One must unlock its true potential.
Yeah, here, it's probably the hardest thing to dodge. You gotta slow the hell down and sway back and forth. There's my good spinning slash, where I kinda look like I'm doing anything he's doing.
My heart beats faster by the second. 2. Good one.
Just gotta whittle him down this way. When his sword is huge and blue like that, he's gonna start doing his lightning stuff again. Which again is one of the real things that you want to worry about in this fight. And that's it, you get this cool little cinematic. We'll let this play out because it's pretty sweet.
Tired of your company. Naughty, naughty! Until one of our flames is forever extinguished, our flames will never reign! Waiting for me! Room! Oh, ho, ho! Come on, let's push it past the red line!
Jesse, take over.
Huh?
Well, well, well. I do believe this round is yours.
Sweet. All that crap is pretty impossible and improbable, but
Maybe
sweet.
next time we can keep it just between the two of us.
Maybe.
Until we meet again, my friend.
He's one of those chivalrous rivalry enemies.
Go team!
Don't get too excited. Reinforcements
Which is
are
funny
on our
because
side.
Sephiroth is kind of his real rivalry, but that's like deadly. This should be deadly too, but he's the friendly deadly guy, I guess.
You passed the test.
So we
What
did,
test?
I guess, in the best category of driving because the cinematic will change up, and this is the
So you
best
don't
one
need
out
a
of them all.
reward?
No.
It also happens to be Jesse's most thirsty one, so that's cool to see. And she gives him a kiss. And just look how she arches her back, like on the, trying to be as sexy as possible
one anyway.
in that battle armor.
You can thank me later. I'll wait. Giving me the cold shoulder?
Yes.
Oh, would you look at that? That's the end of the ride. We'll go on foot from here. Don't want to draw too much attention to ourselves.
Hey, did these things leave a mark?
And his name is Matt Jones. Matt Jones plays the voice
Don't worry. We'll
of
top you up
Wedge.
soon enough. Now let's roll.
Also portrays Badger in Breaking Bad. So, credit where credit's due. So we're just gonna leave these motorcycles here, huh? Not tied or anything. Make our way to the plate. So, we're getting to the end of this episode. I'd like to stop it right here. Thank you for joining me, and hope to see you on episode 12. Bye.